Okay, this is the... I like this one. This
jellyfish is basically
Vespelumarum. I like this one.
The Irukandji, a species of jellyfish native to the northern waters of the land down under, and possibly
they're mortal. Actually, they kill you.
Entire ocean, because it is just a massive, spiteful. Well, massive is misleading, as this little guy is tiny.
He's so cute.
I mean, ridiculously small. Being
oh, come on, he's not that...
your fingernail at the head and basically completely f***ing invisible to the naked eye. This
but can kill you, actually.
Because behind that halo cloak frame, they are dragging 3-foot-long tentacles and shocking absolutely no one.
Say the line, Bart.
It is one of the most venomous jellyfish in the ocean.
Yeah.
True.
I'm so tired of the stealth poison multi-classes on OCE servers, dude. This shit is broken. You see, those 3-foot tentacles are covered with tiny little barbs, and at the barest touch, they will literally propel themselves into your skin like a bullet and inject you with the Australia special.
Yeah, I guess there's no cure for that.
And upon being injected,
you're lucky if you survive, I guess.
Absolutely nothing. You'll keep swimming around, splashing about in the water, kissing the homies, until you overcome with a sudden, severe feeling of impending dread. I mean the kind of dread that will have you hysterically screaming that you are about to die. I am gonna die! I'm gonna die! I'm gonna f***ing die! That's because the invisible cunt here does psychic damage, inflicting a condition known as Irukandji syndrome, which starts with a feeling of impending doom so strong that
I didn't know.
Asking to be avoiding a ban here, forcibly disconnected from God's Minecraft server.
No!
Doom is warranted because about 30 minutes after being stung, that biological bomb goes off, with the venom initially causing extreme pain throughout your entire body. And after making you feel like a failed isekai protagonist, the venom then spikes your blood pressure and heart rate through the roof, which can cause heart attacks, blood clots, and has even been recorded to cause brain hemorrhages.
Yeah, that's why it's dangerous.
The part is, it doesn't have an anti-venom. This thing sneak attacks you, waits 30 minutes, sends you a private DM telling you it got your ass.
That's also cute.
Not a thing you can do about it. Toxic little shit. This jellyfish is basically a time bomb.
I have to explain to you guys how I know about these creatures. So, as you know, I like to collect stuff. And I have a couple of stickers from this creature. Okay, because it came in the sticker albums, you know? And I learned about this creature and I loved him. But I didn't know it was so tiny, I thought it was bigger than that. But I know it because I have the stickers of it. And one day I will show you. Okay, how do I go down? No, not that. How?
Who wins? 100 men or 1 gorilla?
Oh wait, did I put like in the odd...
can't beat 100 men in a
Wait.
Komodo dragon.
No!
Gorilla. Who wins? This was...
No, what I'm doing! No, wait. What? Wait, I want to...
This jellyfish is basically a time bomb. Introducing the Irukandji, a species of jellyfish native to the north.
Also, that species here is called Vespelumarum. Yeah, Vespelumarum. That means wasp of the sea. Okay, why can't I go down? Okay, I have to go manually.
This pigeon saved an entire army battalion.
Heroes never die.
Introducing our protagonist, Jeremy, a carrier pigeon who was in the employ of the US Army Signal Corps during World War I. You see, back in the oldie times, radio technology was, so carrier pigeons were still the meta for DMing the homies memes over distance.
Yeah, imagine.
Which is how
I would love to do that.
Our feathered little shock trooper here ended up in France.
Let's
500
go.
US soldiers stuck 3 kilometers behind enemy lines, completely cut off from supply and reinforcement in a 7-day shootout. You see, Jeremy's battalion, juiced up on freedom and red crayons, had overextended.
Red crayons?
Trapped, surrounded on all sides by German
slay.
soldiers. And to make matters worse, being stuck behind enemy lines meant they were now on the receiving end of US defense spending, being absolutely hammered with friendly artillery. Now, stuck
oh my god,
they would have had more luck using their radio as fucking nunchucks than a comms device. So
by Jesus Christ!
In an attempt to tell command to stop fucking shelling them and help on the point. However, the Germans were having none of that shit and shot every single carrier pigeon the battalion sent out of the air like they were running an AIM Labs warm-up.
No, poor
Until only one remained,
pigeons.
Cher-Ami. Desperate and rapidly running out of soldiers, the battalion wrote a message and attached it to Cher-Ami, sending him into the air and watching him sail above the trees. And just when they thought he was clear,
Oh no.
some f***ing sweat on the German side nailed him. The battalion watched in horror as their last hope spiraled out of the sky. The bullet tore straight through Cher-Ami's center of mass, destroying one eye, punching a hole through his chest, and blowing off one of his legs.
No,
And this
is he okay?
big chad of an animal tanked it.
Do you have any ibuprofen? I got
No.
a headache.
The Marines watched in awe as this mangled pigeon picked itself out of the mud and managed to fly clear of German fire. Cher-Ami made it the whole way back to base, delivering the message and saving a total of 194 soldiers. Not only did he get the job done, but he f***ing lived. He was granted one of the highest military honors
so
the French army could
cute.
provide and sent into retirement with his trainer. And when he eventually did pass several years later, he was preserved and placed in the Smithsonian, where you can go see him today.
Oh my
There he
god.
is. Absolute f***ing legend.
Let's go, Mr. Pigeon. I'm gonna tell you something. I hope they made him have proper veterinary care, okay? Because he needs it. He needs a lot of love because of that. Oh my god, so cute. Also, why do people not respect pigeons as much today? Like, I think it's for the cute emojis. You know, I like pigeons, but today people just call him rats of the city or the sky. Poor of guys, they're such cute animals. They just saved so many lives in the past and now they're just treated like trash. Come on, don't do that. They're animals like us. And I tell you, when I was on university, there was like this pigeon put to the library. And sometimes he wanted food and we gave him food. And the students actually liked to, kick him. And I was so mad. Okay, the pigeon just trusted us because of that. Because the students in the university liked to kick the pigeons. It was horrible. And they laughed like, poor pigeon. Just respect the animal. Jesus Christ.
Scientists just de-extincted
Ooh, a
a
Patasaurus.
12,000-year-old dog. Well,
Oh, wait,
kind of.
that's a
You see,
dog.
A bioengineering company called Colossal has dedicated itself to doing what every single Jurassic Park film has told us is a bad idea. Bringing back extinct species. And
that
recently,
exists.
they made a breakthrough. They have managed to bring back the 12,000-year-old direwolf.
Direwolf.
You know, those big-ass puppies from Game of Thrones that the Starks had?
Yeah,
those
I
are
know
actually
these
a
guys
real
exist
animal
because of
alive
the
during
Ark
Late Ice Age.
games.
And the best way I can describe them to you is basically a wolf on steroids. These
My
things were bigger,
God.
faster, and stronger, estimated to have the highest bite force out of any canine. And in a move that I'm sure has no implications, they have managed to bring these bad boys back to life.
Oh, so
These two little guys are now 6 months old and have been living on a private plot of land with 24/7 veterinary care. However, they've only just been shown off to the public, with the company going so far as to get a photo op with George R.R. Martin holding one of these adorable
that?
little killing machines, showing that man will literally interact with an extinct species before he finishes that last f***ing book. There is, however, one
Who is
small
that?
problem. This isn't
I'm sorry.
technically a direwolf. You see, by merit of them being extinct, short of specking into necromancy, you can't exactly bring them back. Which is where this guy comes in. You see, the grey wolf shares 99.5% of its genetic code with the dire wolf. So, using CRISPR gene editing, they basically toss the grey wolf back into the spore creature creator.
Let's
Then using the
go!
code found in dire wolf fossils as a build guide, juiced the out of it, boosting the size slider and putting some extra points into strength, as well as adjusting its head shape and teeth. All in all, they made a total of 20 edits to 14 genes, producing the closest thing we can get to a dire wolf short of time travel. Which is cool as I give it 5
Actually,
years
yeah.
before a man-made horror beyond comprehension breaks out
What
of
is
the
that?
lab, and we are all playing Resident Evil.
Oh my.
Scientists
I like For example, they should bring back species that were extinct by the humans. What I'm trying to say is, for example, there's animals like the dodo, the cow of the sea and stuff, they were extinct by humans. Those should be bring back because they were not extinct by nature or the normal evolution stuff. And they deserve to bring back, okay? Because they were not extinct because nature told so, okay? That's why I believe that would be rather better, okay? And they were important animals to the equilibrium of the ecosystem. So yeah, and the direwolves don't have a place on the ecosystem anymore because they were extinct a long time ago, But okay, let's proceed.
This bear was actually a soldier.
Slay.
You see, it was 1942, and the 22nd Polish Artillery Company were passing through the mountains of Iran on their way to the front lines to fight the Nazis.
What?
While passing through a town on their way, they were stopped by
What,
a
is that
young
a
Iranian
sale?
shepherd looking to trade with them for rations and a Swiss Army knife. When the Poles
Ooh.
asked what he had to offer in return, the young shepherd produced a burlap sack containing an orphaned Syrian brown bear cub.
Bro,
You see, this
no
bear's
way,
mother
I
was
accept
shot by
that.
hunters, which is how he ended up in a low-tech Pokeball being offered as a trade deal. The Polish looked at the bear and, clearly seeing the potential for insane dad lore, said,
Good deal.
and in the most worthwhile trade deal in history, parted ways with their supplies in exchange for a f***ing Pokemon. Adopting
Let's
him into their
go.
race and naming him Wojtek. And the 22nd immediately set about raising this little man as a proper bear and soldier.
Maggots!
As a baby, they would feed him condensed milk out of an empty vodka bottle, as well as
Oh.
feeding him on the cartoon bear diet consisting of fruit, honey, and marmalade. They also appointed a soldier
what?
as his caretaker, who wasted no time in showing Wojtek how to fit in with the rest of the army, teaching Yogi's little cousin to wave, salute, and even march.
Oh my god,
While
no
not
way,
undergoing
that's
some rigorous
amazing.
military training, Wojtek would hang out with the soldiers. He drank coffee with them in the morning,
Ah, so
trained with them in the
slay.
day, and when they all got shit-faced in the evening,
No!
he would f***ing wrestle with them. Do you know how much a brown bear
okay,
has to
that's
love you
cute.
to wrestle you?
Oh, that's
Top of double
real?
rations, they would also
No
feed
way.
Wojtek treats in the form of beer and cigarettes. They let
Bro,
the
no
bear
way.
have
You can't do
smoke.
that.
Eventually, Army High Command heard about this and were having absolutely f***ing none of it. You see, pets were not allowed in the army, which meant Wojtek had to go. Or did he? Because the 22nd Artillery Company officially enlisted him.
I'm doing my part.
Let's go, a new soldier.
I'm doing my part.
Wojtek was given a serial number and granted the rank of private, so when confronted
Let's
about
go.
a very conspicuous bear in their ranks, they simply went, "That's not a bear, that's Private Wojtek."
Let's go.
Wojtek took his new role very seriously, as during the Battle of Monte Cassino in 1944, Wojtek began using his bulk to transport artillery shells and ammo
Oh my
to
God,
soldiers
that's-
engaged in combat. They had a fucking resupply bear.
Let's
For his bravery,
go.
he
Oh
was
my god,
promoted to
that's so
rank corporal,
useful.
And the 22nd changed their insignia to a bear carrying an artillery shell. This absolute unit smoked, drank, and dropped artillery on the Nazis. Base.
So cute.
This bear was
That's adorable. But I have a question. Hopefully he didn't die in the war. Please, he could have a good life after the war, please. Also, I hope he didn't get traumatized by the stuff he saw in the war. Okay.
Crocodiles are just dinosaurs that forgot to go extinct. I am dead serious, and I cannot think of a croc species to better
Ooh.
make my point than the saltwater
Cute.
crocodile, a species native to the land down under, and shocking
what?
absolutely no one. Yes, it can and will eat you. You see, keeping on theme with the whole forgetting to go extinct thing, the salty stat spread just feels like something that should have been
Oh my-
patched out with the rest of Jurassic
Why
Park,
that
starting
picture?
with their ridiculous size.
My
See, salties are the
god.
largest reptile on the planet, coming in at a total of 6 fucking meters long with a maximum weight of...
Actually, I think the biggest one, I think he's already dead, was Sarcosuchus. But I guess there's a bigger one than Sarcosuchus if you want to search about it.
1,100 kilos, which makes this murder lizard genuinely longer than my f***ing car. And the f***ed up part is that despite being longer than my ute, they are for some reason absolute masters of stealth. You see, crocs are ambush predators, which is a scientific way of saying they are dirty f***ing campers. You see, they've got two raised eyes that sit on the top of their heads, which means they can submerge their Ford Falcon-sized frame basically entirely under the water without sacrificing the ability to spot whatever they are looking to turn into a Happy Meal. And
Happy Meal,
yay! As the Happy Meal, they are really difficult to see, which makes it very easy to walk just a little too close and, yeah, get bitten in half by that hydraulic press they call a mouth.
That's why I love Nestle Crunch.
That's right,
oh my god, that's horrible.
These scaly arseholes are packing a one-shot in the form of one of the highest bite forces of any animal on the f***ing planet, having been recorded at putting out a maximum of 3,700 psi of force through their
That's
jaws.
how much?
To put that
I
into
don't know,
context,
man.
your skull will crack at 1,100 psi,
Oh.
so a croc would pop your head like a watermelon. And if you don't immediately get folded by the first bite, those jaws will latch onto you as the croc begins a death roll, spitting its ton of body weight like a washing machine until whatever part of you it has decided to eat snaps off and is added to its protein goals.
My god. Okay, I like the music.
Crocodile is their build is so f***ing good. They have genuinely been around with very little evolutionary change for 65 million years.
He's big.
I grew
Big
up
boy.
watching Steve
So
Irwin
cute.
wrestle dinosaurs for fun. Rest in peace, you absolute f***ing legend. Crocodiles are just
He
dinosaurs.
died? Oh, maybe I should know who he is, right? But okay. Also, if they're saltwater crocodiles, can they go to the sea? Like, they can swim on the sea, or no? You know, I'm just assuming that, right? Just forget, you know, maybe they can go to the sea if they're saltwater.
Are really dumb. In fact, Australia's fuzzy
Look at you, so adorable.
the dumbest thing on the
So
planet.
cute, so
And that
cute, so
stupidity
cute, so cute.
starts with their diet, because of all the things they could have chosen to eat, they chose to eat nothing but straight up poison.
Yeah, the
See, koalas
plant is
feed
poisonous.
exclusively on eucalyptus leaves, which, shocking no one, are highly toxic, because they are filled to
Hello.
the brim with eucalypt oil, which is so fucking poisonous that as little as 3.75
What?
mil is enough to land you in the afterlife.
No
with
way,
three
that's
bars and
real.
You felt the need to eat a leaf.
Why?
Oh,
I
it's
didn't
also
think it was
highly
that
flammable
heavy.
and burns like napalm, because Australia. Now,
My
despite
God.
nature putting up this giant do not eat sign, that did not stop the koala, because he
Aw,
can't
so
fucking read.
cute.
This suboptimal bulking diet not only gives the koala all in the way of nutrition, but also requires their body to rest to filter out the toxins so they don't fucking cark it. Meaning they
Aww.
need to spend upwards of 18 hours a day sleeping in order to just digest their fucking food. These dumbasses spend most of their life in a food coma. That is, however, if they even get to the food to begin with, because they are so mind-numbingly brain dead that they will not recognize a eucalyptus leaf as food unless it is on the branch. I could give this dumbass a lifetime supply of food, and if it wasn't on a stick, he would starve to death. It should come as
No!
no surprise to you at this point that the koala has such an esky temperature IQ that they literally have a smooth brain.
No way!
Slide right off of this dumb.
Why?
I love it.
How are they alive?
Koalas are.
I have a question. No, this is not a question, but okay. So in my country, there's a problem with eucalyptus, okay? The stuff that koala eat. They say it's like a plague, okay? There's eucalyptus everywhere because they wanted to make, I don't know, easy wood to sell. And I was thinking, why don't you fix that by releasing koalas in Portugal? It is so dumb, but I was thinking, why don't we release koalas in Portugal to eat eucalyptus? Then there's no plague anymore, right? I just think about it. But then wouldn't it be worse to the country? I don't know, man.
Australia
Ooh.
has just found zombified bugs.
Yeah, it's because of a fungus.
Closer to the Walking Dead Down Under than you think. You see, just recently, a scientist by the name of Dr. Francois Brassard made a trek out to the remote savannah of the Northern Territory, with the goal of finding and cataloguing brand new species of insect unknown to science. I mean, me personally,
Another fucking spider thing. That's so cute.
Considering that half of them can send me directly into the fucking soil. But what do I know, right? Anyway, on his trip to the middle of nowhere, he stumbled across a colony of spiny savanna ants, which is a pretty normal thing to find out there. However, getting closer, he noticed something a little off. You see, the main ant colony was fine, completely normal. However, the several disfigured and deformed ant corpses clamped onto shoots of grass surrounding the colony like a Bug's Life version of Vlad the Inhaler. Yeah, those were significantly less normal. Brassard, mildly unsettled by the ant gore on his timeline, took samples for inspection and upon getting a closer look, realised something both really cool and really spooky. The ants had been overtaken by fungus.
Yes, that's what I was talking about.
A previously unknown strain of the cordyceps.
And they control the ants.
For its ability to create zombie bugs. And the way it does it is unbelievably horrific. You see, it begins with a spore landing on an ant and producing a thin rope-like strand that penetrates and attaches to their exoskeleton. At which point, the ant gets a little timer on his hotbar, counting down to a family reunion with his ancestors. Once inside, the fungus begins to take control of the ant's body and brain function, completely changing their behavior, replacing their colony-focused mindset with one single goal: climb. Its fungus-riddled mind drags its rapidly deteriorating body to the closest high point, which is usually a plant, with its final act being to clamp its mandibles onto the stem in a death grip. Finally succumbing to the infection and being completely consumed, its corpse blossoming into a fully grown cordyceps fungus and raining down spores onto the rest of the colony
that's so
to continue the cycle of infection.
The walking
ants.
ants.
I know this fungus is found elsewhere in the world, but it's a new strain and it was found in Australia. With my luck, I'm going to be playing The Last of Us against couch-sized spiders within the fucking week.
No!
Australia has just found
but spiders are not insects, so you're safe. Anyway, why doesn't anyone make like an anime or a series about this in a perspective of an ant? It would be amazing, don't you think? Also, this fungus can only infect insects. Imagine if someone just takes that fungus and modifies it to infect other stuff. Hopefully nobody has that idea. Okay, forget what I said. Okay, nobody's gonna have that. Say that. Do that.
Introducing the tarantula hawk wasp, possibly
so
one of the
cute.
most nightmare-inducing insects on the planet. And the reason it's such a threat to your mental health is because its hunting and reproduction strategy is...
Oh wait, I think I remember what this is. She hunts, okay, and they make the prey paralyzed. And then they drag the prey to their tiny home, and it's eaten alive while it's paralyzed. Okay, I guess it's this.
Straight from Ellen Ripley's autobiography. But before we get to the strats, you're gonna have to learn a little bit about it first. Native to Australia, because of course it fucking is, this fucker is the largest wasp on the planet. Coming in massive 2.5 inches, which I mean, boys, we would all agree, well above average, right? Huge. And this is probably the most effective 2 inches has ever been because it has the second most painful sting of any insect on the planet.
Okay, maybe I'm wrong.
Barely behind the bullet ant. Pack and a half-inch stinger with a potent venom that has been described as blinding, debilitating, and electric. Now, the size and poison aren't just for nothing, because as the name tarantula hawk wasp suggests, they are purpose-built genetically perfect killing machines designed specifically to violate spiders, making Australia basically an all-you-can-eat buffet for them. But they don't just execute the spiders. No, that'd be too normal. Hawk wasps use spiders to reproduce in one of the most horrific ways.
Yeah, they're paralyzed and they put the eggs inside and the eggs will eat the spider alive while she's paralyzed. I think that's it. I was talking right. Oh my god, it's horrible.
Female hawk wasp hunting down a tarantula. As the buff bulking spider
So
takes
cute.
a wrong turn down a dark alley, the hawk wasp, noticing the 8 sets of TNs on his feet, proceeds to fucking jump him, flying down from above to land a sting into the spider's abdomen, instantly and permanently paralyzing it. The Bug Harbour Butcher then proceeds to drag the still completely conscious and aware spider
they're
into
conscious.
an isolated kill room, which is where the fucked up part really begins. Because our wasp isn't hungry, it's pregnant, and proceeds to lay its egg on the paralyzed spider's abdomen. After about 3 to 4 days, that egg hatches into a larvae. A very hungry larvae. Fortunately, there's a whole bunch of fresh food right here underneath them. That food being the still paralyzed, still very conscious and aware spider. The larvae burrows into the spider's abdomen and gets to work converting it into a KFC family bucket, consuming it from the inside out, purposely avoiding vital organs to keep the food nice and fresh. After it's done consuming a living being, the larvae breaks forth from the demolished corpse like a fucking chest burster and fucks off to continue the generational arachnid violation.
My god.
Anywho, good luck getting any sleep tonight. This wasp is basically...
Yeah, one thing, like, I like nature, but I'm realistic with something. You know, nature is not all beauty and peace, okay? Nature is nature, okay? It was made to survive and stuff like that. Of course, in the course of, you know, millions of years, beautiful stuff, cute stuff is going to appear, right? But that doesn't mean they're like our friends, okay? But we have to respect them, okay? Because this is an example of how brutal nature is. For example, people just think I can go to a deer and talk to him. No. It's like, you wouldn't go to a stranger and try to talk to him, right? Imagine that. You have to respect them. And you know, I find nature amazing. But I don't find it a peaceful place. Okay? Only if it's a safe place. Because if underneath your nose there's like a battle happening, like a ant getting eaten by something, you know, there's something happening every single time. So what I think about nature is that it's something amazing actually to see how they develop to do that. Okay, it's amazing actually. Yeah, it's scary sometimes, yeah, it's brutal, yeah, but it's amazing like how biologically it became like that. Okay, so yeah, I admire nature because of it, of this stuff. Sometimes nature is peaceful. Okay, you have like a garden with fish, with birds, but you forget that the birds will eat something, right? And you forget about that, you know, because there's always something. Okay, for our perspective looks cool, but for some other being it's horrible. Okay, but that doesn't mean you should destroy nature. Okay, you just appreciate what it is, respect it, because that's how our planet works, and you know, try to learn more about it to see how amazing it is, and sometimes strange, because there's literally a dinosaur. I don't think if it's considered a dinosaur. One day I was thinking, what if the legs would be the wings and the wings be the legs? And no way there's like a dinosaur that looks like that. That the wings are in the legs and the legs are in the wing. Okay, it's really crazy stuff. So yeah, nature is amazing, but people should be more aware of it. It's not like on a Disney movie. Okay? Think about it. If you see a lion reaching out to you, and you don't know the intentions of the lion, what would you do? Wouldn't you run? Like, that's the same stuff to approach a deer. The deer doesn't know your species. The deer doesn't know you from nowhere. Of course, he's gonna attack you, right? So yeah, be more conscious about that. But that doesn't mean to destroy everything, okay? Just be respectful. Okay, I'm sorry for talking so much.
Who wins? 100 men or one gorilla?
Gorilla.
Well, to get your answer, we're going to have to look at our fighters for the most
Yes! Let's go, so cute. I love gorillas.
2025. And in the red corner, standing at an impressive 6 feet tall and weighing a ridiculous 220 kilos.
They look like on steroids, Jesus.
Silverback gorilla.
They're on extinction, almost.
Stepping into the ring to settle the score against humanity for what we did to Harambe, this fighter is bringing some impressive physical strength.
Harambe was innocent.
800 kilos of weight.
I think it was. I don't know. People say it was. I don't know much.
Gorilla is more than capable of picking you up and doing you the same way that Hulk did Loki.
What? I didn't saw that movie, sorry.
Now, on top of being stronger than Eddie Hall, they also have an unreal reach advantage with a 2.6 meter wingspan, which is a fairly major problem because a right hook from a gorilla produces 2,700 pounds of force. To put that into perspective, the human skull shatters at 1,400. So if Winston hits you with a haymaker, your head is going to pop like a watermelon.
Why the watermelon reference?
Combat rule set, we can also factor in the gorilla's bite, because despite being a pretty gentle herbivore in the wild, they have one of the highest bite forces on the planet at 1,300 psi. That is
for me, PSI still weird.
More than a polar bear. And now, with our fighter statistics out of the way, let's get down to business. Can our gorilla win a fight against the 100 average men in the blue corner? Place your bets. Let's see who comes out on top. Yeah, look, I'm going to keep it real with you. Even with those stats, Winston here is getting bodied. I'm sorry, he's going back to the spawn room. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Directly to hanging out with Harambe in heaven. 100 people, it's just too fucking many. He's getting jumped. However, not to say
I don't think so.
Take a few with him. My guess is one guy runs up and gets swatted across the cage like a toddler, shatters his ribs against the bars. Second guy gets grabbed by the leg and given the Hulk treatment. Well,
imagine if the gorilla takes one and does like a spiral and all the guys go bye-bye, you know? That would be some strategy.
From broken necks. One dumbass is probably going to try to hit him off the top rope and get done the same way that Omni-Man did Nightwing. But at that point, the crowd probably...
You know, many of these references I don't understand because I don't see stuff.
There are still about 90 of them and it's over. Not that the fight even needs to happen, but it wouldn't be the first time we lost a gorilla to human stupidity.
Aww. Come on, gorillas are, gorillas also not... Let them be, okay? Don't do nothing to gorillas.
A gorilla can't beat 100 men in a fight. He gets
but the hippopotamus can,
but that begs
right?
the question, which animal does win?
Hippopotamus?
Stepping into the ring at 5 meters long and weighing in at a genuinely frightening 4,500 kilos.
So cute.
I present to you the hippopotamus.
You know, I'm gonna tell you something. When I was a kid, I thought that hippopotamus were like a creature that just existed to eat, I don't know, grass. I never thought they were deadly. Then one day, one of my sticker albums about nature told they were one of the dangerous creatures on Earth. And I was like, what? And then I learned that, okay, they're dangerous. They're not friendly. Okay, they protect themselves. I guess some of them can be friendly. I don't know, man.
Look,
every single creature is every single one.
Heaven after a fight is honestly pretty plausible. You see, despite the fantastic power work Mudang has done for the hippopotamus community.
But you have to remember that Mudang is a different species of hippopotamus, right? There's many types. He's a pygmy. Okay, it's like a tiny one. It's not that dangerous as a African hippopotamus, okay? It's tinier. He's a pygmy.
Doesn't change the fact that Moto here is a sentient Ford F-150, the temperament of a fucking serial killer who can win this fight for one very specific reason. You can't...
Let me see if Moondang is a... Moondang. Is I don't want to buy Moondang. Pygmy hippopotamus. Yeah, they're not as dangerous, okay? Because it's a pygmy or something.
Fucking heard it. You say the hippopotamus is possibly the tankiest land animal on the fucking planet, packing an unbelievably thick 2-inch hide. Now look, we all know 2 inches is a lot, especially in the sheets, but in the streets of the African savannah, this makes them practically
invincible.
Don't believe me? Here is a hippopotamus walking away from 10 lions trying to convert it into a family meal. Notice how the hippopotamus does not give a single fuck. If Mufasa and his extended family can't hurt it, neither can you. However, don't let the fact that it's walking away fool you here. The hippopotamus is not a peaceful animal. They are, in fact, violent, psychopathic, 4.5-ton thundercats that can and will bite you in half. A hippo's jaw produces 2,000 psi of...
How much is that?
Force. So if he catches your ass, you are the watermelon. And as if the hydraulic press...
Why the watermelon references?
They've got 2 20-inch fangs in that mouth that'll put a hole in you big enough to stick your f***ing arm through. But honestly, the bite doesn't even f***ing matter. It weighs 4.5 tons and can run at 30k an hour.
Is that much?
Getting hit by a charging hippo is like getting hit by a f***ing bus. There is no way we are winning a fight against something that could probably take out 10 people just by rolling over.
What? That's it. That's funny.
Don't f*** with the hungry hippo.
My god.
A gorilla can't beat a hungry
Also, you probably are asking how these creatures are controlled, like in a way. For example, they're not too much... There's not an overpopulation of hippos, right? I guess. It's because when they're younger, okay, when they're kids, the hippos are more vulnerable. So the population control begins when they're tiny. The ones that are stronger survive and die, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Also, I'm the type of person that knows that animals, like us, for example, not every single human, let's see, it's vegan, right? There's always an exception, right? So imagine, not all hippos can be dangerous, there can be some cute ones, but don't risk that, okay? They're individuals like us, but respect them, let be them in their place and do their life. Don't go near them.
Dragons are horror villains. I mean, seriously, this industrial-sized
they
is easily one of the biggest assholes in the animal kingdom when it comes to hunting methods, packing a PhD in suffering and a double degree in biological warfare purely because they cannot be expending effort to hunt. You see, Godzilla's little cousin here is the largest lizard in the world, weighing up to 106...
something. I like Komodo dragons because it's the closest stuff we have to a dragon. A real dragon, you see. It just misses the wings.
66 kilos and being a full 3.13 meters in length, which means, for the short kings in my audience, if you're brave enough, bang a motor transport right there.
What? Now, you train your dragon.
Tile equivalent of a Cadillac Escalade means that the Komodo dragon needs to consume a lot of calories to keep that bulk going. However, rather than using that bulk to proactively chase down and body slam its prey, they can take down prey 3 times their size. Because as if being a reptilian tank was not enough, they are also venomous.
Yeah, they are.
Just your run-of-the-mill snake venom that, you know, gives you a nice quick 15-minute death. No. A Komodo hunt starts with it running up to its prey and giving it a nice big chomp on the leg, injecting it with hemorrhagic venom. After biting, the Komodo dragon off and just sits there watching. The confused and bewildered animal runs off into the forest, leaking blood, allowing that Komodo dragon to track it like a DoorDash order. A week goes by, and that bite wound isn't closing because hemorrhagic venom prevents blood clots. So the animal is still slowly bleeding out, and the Komodo is still watching. More time passes. That bite wound gets infected because Komodos are carrion feeders, meaning that the inside of their mouth is full of enough rotting flesh and bacteria to give out a run for his money. The infection begins to drain the animal's strength, and the Komodo is still watching. Another week passes. The infection has spread, and the flesh has begun to rot. And you
That's horrible.
that ass lizard is still there watching like he's waiting for his meal to heat up in the microwave. Once the bleeding, disease-ridden animal becomes too exhausted to move on its own and collapses, the Komodo strolls over and eats it alive.
Yeah.
Shredding it into chunks if it's larger, or if it's small enough, swallowing it whole as it screams on the way down. Even for me, man, that's fucked. Komodo dragons are
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, seriously.
They're the closest stuff we have to a dragon, so yeah. Black Mamba?
This is the deadliest snake in the world. Introducing the inland taipan, and being the deadliest venom in the world, I will give you exactly one guess as to where it's found.
Australia?
It's Australia, of course it's fucking Australia. Be so serious here. Where the else did you think you were going to find it? Canada? More specifically, as the name suggests, the taipan is found inland in the outback. Luckily, extremely far from civilization, because this homicidal hospital hose is the definition of size doesn't matter. Because despite having extremely small fangs for a venomous snake, coming in at only 6.2 millimeters.
Yeah, but the venom is crazy.
You absolutely can feel less than an inch, because those fangs contain the statistically deadliest snake venom on the fucking planet. Yeah,
My God.
taipan venom is a pina colada of pain, containing, but not limited to, hemotoxins to cause blood clots, myotoxins for paralysis and necrosis, nephrotoxins to shut down your kidneys, and 3 different kinds of neurotoxin. Needless to say, if it bites you, you will get a headache, vomit up the entire contents of your stomach, collapse to the ground in agonizing pain, and then your heart and lungs will stop, sending you to meet God in under 15 minutes.
There's a cure to this?
And that venom is so fucking potent that one bite contains enough toxin to do that to 100 people.
Bro!
The funniest part of this snake's venom is that in the wild, they only hunt rats and f***ing mice. The deadliest venom on the planet, and they are using it to pack up Remy the rat. It's like hunting a rabbit with a f***ing AWP.
That's the cutest f***ing thing I've ever seen.
Like, is there a possible way if they discover they can hunt bigger stuff they would do that? I don't know.
Deadliest snake in the
They're maybe playing safe. You know, they're not gonna kill a huge animal. They can get kicked and die.
This
Right.
snake can take your arm off.
'Tis but a scratch. Scratch? Your arm's off.
Introducing the fer-de-lance, a species of pit viper native to
Oh,
South
fer-de-lance. Yeah, I heard
Mexico,
about that one.
With this particular
Mexico,
outbreak
woo.
having quite possibly one of the nastiest fucking bites in the world.
Oh my...
This is a fairly major problem, because this little has the temperament of an eshay at a train station. being incredibly
Backstar?
aggressive and extremely territorial.
Both of you give me your wallets and your shoes, bar, otherwise I'll cave your heads in right here, right now, bar.
In fact, this toxic garden hose is such an aggressive little within its range, it makes up an average of 50% of all snake bites. However, despite the huge number of attacks, it's only fatal in 6%.
You did
bites.
miss me making monologues of nature and stupid proposals to change Portugal. Because, you know, there's like too much eucalyptus, and some years ago I thought, what's the problem to add koalas to release? Thank you. But I was thinking, like, you know, that in Portugal there's too much eucalyptus because they were introduced to get cheap wood, right? And they're not there a plague. So why don't we add koalas to Portugal, okay? That's something I really thought about. Why not?
So why is it such a problem? Just because you live the bite doesn't mean you'll want to. You see, when a fertile ant bites you, this massive viper sinks its huge inch-long fangs into your skin and injects you with 2 teaspoons of venom. You will at this point notice a status effect bar appear on the bottom of your screen. Don't worry about that. That's a mystery tool that'll hurt us later. Upon being bitten, your blood pressure immediately crashes lower than the stock market, and you start to feel very ill. The bite wound feels like you've been shot in the leg, you start sweating like someone's looking through your browser history, and then you start puking your guts up. Shortly followed by your collapse into the ground in agony. Now, fertile ant venom is hemorrhagic, so while you have to crap for a moment on the ground, the venom is breaking down the walls of your blood vessels, causing massive internal bleeding. At the same time,
you die
into your bloodstream, causing it to thicken and start growing clots.
Oh my god.
You're in luck. You were with a buddy when you got bitten. They rush you to the hospital, and because it's such a common snake bite, they have the anti-venom on hand and administer it immediately, counteracting the venom's effects. There is just one problem. The mystery tool is still there, because anti-venom is not necromancy. So, all the dead tissue around the bite caused by the blood clots and internal bleeding is still very dead. In fact, it's so dead that it is rotting on your still alive body in a process called necrosis. I can't show you a photo of necrosis because it's genuinely disgusting, but to put it into terms,
I know what it is.
The snake applies scarlet rot. Now, so long as that rot's still attached to you, it's gonna spread. So,
you have to cut.
Stop it. Cut it off.
Yeah. It's like a zombie bite. Oh my god. Oh, I like this octopus. It's called the polvo nem Jesus in Portugal. I liked them when I was a kid because I saw them in a Sea Life magazine they gave me. And I was like, they're so beautiful. I thought they were huge. Actually, they looked so tiny now. And of course, I have some stickers from my sticker album that I got duplicated and I use them. But they're really venomous, but they're so cute.
Adorable little octopus is also the world's deadliest.
Yeah?
Introducing the blue-ringed octopus, a species of cephalopod native to Australia, and in a shock to precisely 0 people at this point, it's venomous. Because of course it's venomous. Why wouldn't it be venomous? That'd make my life way too easy. Now, to its credit, unlike most of the toxic bullshit in this hellscape I call home, they at least have the common decency to be coloured like a neon sign. However, it immediately loses this credit by being the octopus equivalent of a hobbit, coming in smaller than a 50-cent coin. And this is a problem,
so cute.
because it is the most venomous octopus in the world.
That's so adorable.
This spaghetti ball is packed to the brim with neurotoxin, more specifically tetrodotoxin. You know, the same shit that turns cooking a puff fish into a quick time event. Yeah, these little guys are packing it too. However, because it is Australian, the blue-ringed octopus is on violence timing and is the only animal in the world to use this shit as an offensive measure by way of a venomous bite. But what does the venom actually do? Well, imagine you're wading through the rock pools with the homies, and you accidentally disturb this little gentleman's residence. The blue ring, taking the American approach to home defense, suctions onto your leg and bites you. Best part, it's completely painless. So if you're distracted by how thick your mate's looking in those Speedos, you don't even feel shit. That is, until your face starts tingling like TV static. It's warm out here under the sun, but you weren't sweating like this 5 minutes ago, and now you got a headache. You start to feel sick, weak. You go to call out, your voice comes out slurred like you just knocked back a bottle of vodka.
2 shots of vodka.
And then suddenly,
that's a big cup.
Your legs come out from under you, and you hit the beach. Fun fact about tetrodotoxin. It's a paralytic.
Okay, if you're in the sea, you die.
Starting with your arms and legs, which is why you're kissing the sand. You know what else is a muscle? Your diaphragm, the muscle that controls your breathing. And yeah, turns those bad boys off too. And so, your chest stops rising and falling, and you suffocate to death
why
right
does
there
the
on the beach.
octopus do that? It's no need. Only if it's a predator.
Now, you may be wondering, how come no one called an ambulance?
But you're in the sea.
They didn't have time to. You went up to meet your ancestors in under 20 minutes. God ordered your ass with same-day shipping, and this little f***er delivered. Employee of the month.
So cute.
This adorable
Yeah,
little
because if you're swimming in the sea and you get bitten, that's crazy. You know,
This
no
is
way.
Australia's most common snake, and that's quite a problem, because it's also one of the world's deadliest.
And cute.
Introducing
Looks
the
cute.
eastern brown snake, native to quite literally every state in the land down under. And
Snake.
unluckily for us, this asshole has earned himself a silver medal in the Note Rope Olympics venom
Aw,
category,
so
coming in
cute.
second place for the most venomous snake.
Snake,
in the
you're so
world.
adorable.
It is
Thank
worth
you.
noting that third and first place,
Thank you for moderating the
unsurprisingly,
chat.
also both held by Australian snakes. Because God hates us. However, unlike first and third, the toxic middle child here is a far larger problem. Because putting it lightly,
Water.
he's a cunt.
Oh,
The eastern brown is one of the most territorial species of snake in the world, which is a scientific way of saying they operate on the US home defense philosophy. If you dare
I don't
put a
know what that
pinky toe
is.
onto this guy's property, he will bite your ass, injecting you with a hemotoxin that can send you to heaven via blood clot in under 30 minutes if left untreated.
oh my god.
Hey, stay off his property and he'll leave you alone. Right? Yeah, one problem. His property is your property.
Yeah.
That's right, the eastern brown doesn't live out in the middle of nowhere like his slightly more deadly cousin. This fucker is so at home in the suburbs, he drives a f***ing Prius. You can find this burnt piece of spaghetti literally anywhere. Go to put your shoes on, he's turned them into a 2-bedroom home. Hop in the car to go to
Cute.
work. Yeah, unfortunately, that's his car now. Get to work on the job site? What do you know? He f***ing works here too. Try to take a shower after a long day at work? F*** off. He's moisturising.
That's so-
You can't even take
So
a
tiny.
in the comfort of your own home without running the risk of the dunny being occupied. In fact, these bastards are so omnipresent that out of the 200 species of snake in the country,
Oh, that's a lot.
this ginormous asshole makes up 60% of snake bites. What
Let's go. You know, that thing getting back while you
This
poop
is a-
by a snake, I don't know, that's so cute, I love that. It's kind of common, I think, right? Not here, but it's common. In some countries it is. You have to be really careful, you have to watch your toilets, okay? That would be horrible, and if it's a venomous snake, Jesus, that's horrible too.
This shrimp can cause
This shrimp can break. Oh my god, how do I tell you this? He he has so much force it breaks the sound barrier or something like that.
Explosions.
My main goal is to blow up.
Introducing the mantis shrimp.
Mind you, some snakes are great swimmers, so they got 23 helicopters. That's true, that's what I'm saying. There's actually water
To
snakes,
the West
so...
Indo-Pacific Ocean and possibly the coolest crustacean under the sea. Because this fluorescent armored sausage is actually a voracious, bloodthirsty predator rocking enough surveillance equipment to scare the CIA with a weapon.
You know, that stuff he got there, he can break whole shells. He can break everything, I guess. And the sound that he makes, it just like looks like a bomb or something. I think he's gonna talk about that.
Powerful enough to surpass Metal Gear. See, the mantis shrimp is a highly effective predator, and they find and track their prey with easily the most advanced set of eyes on the planet.
Yeah, he
First off,
sees like
each of
crazy.
these eye stalks can rotate independently like a periscope, giving them a full 360 degrees of vision. However, more importantly, they can see colours we can't. You see, the mantis shrimp's eyes contain a full 15 photoreceptor cones compared to our 3. Which is a fancy way of saying they can see in 16K HDR with ray tracing enabled at 500 render distance.
Oh, my PC.
Now, not only is the visual clarity unmatched, they can...
Bro, if you would talk about all the eyes characteristics, you would be making a whole video about it. Those things saying it's something really complex. The eye itself, it's a complex organ. It's amazing. How can we see? It's crazy.
can also see into the infrared and ultraviolet light spectrums. And despite all of this, they still can't find who asked.
Take over who asked. I asked. Thank you. Yes, because, you know, it's a complexity. A complex organ. Jesus. I just forget the words sometimes. That's why I didn't talk about it. Yeah. Imagine seeing colors that nobody sees. That would be amazing. That's why I think life is more what you see. You know? An animal can see something else that you don't see. You right? There can be stuff that you can never see because your eyes can't. But that doesn't mean that the stuff isn't there. That stuff doesn't exist. Just because you can see, right? For example, there are animals that can see colors. That doesn't mean that colors doesn't exist because of their perspective of life. Yeah, basically that. You see, you can just, you know what I'm saying. Because of our perspective of life, limited by our sensory stuff, doesn't mean that other stuff doesn't exist because we can feel it, we can see it, we can taste it. You know. Basically, that's what I'm trying to say.
What they can, however, find is their next meal. The mantis shrimp subsists on a diet of fish, worms, squidward, and, most importantly, Mr. Krabs.
Yeah.
Crabs famously exist inside of a defensive shell. So, how does this polite little gentleman break into the shell? Simple. He throws hands.
Yeah. That's basically that.
That's right, weighing in at only 90 grams and 38 centimeters in length, the mantis shrimp has a punch that produces 15,000 newtons of force. That is 176 newtons per gram. So if a human was capable of that same kind of force, a right hook from someone who weighs 80 kilo would be like getting hit in the face with 6 sticks of dynamite.
Oh my god.
Now, to produce that force, its claw needs to be moving at 83 kilometers an hour, which is so fast it creates a vacuum in the water called a cavitation bubble, which then immediately collapses at such a speed it creates a miniature explosion that flashbangs the target and reaches a temperature hotter than the surface of the sun. Mr. Krabs,
my god, that's crazy.
Disintegrated.
Money.
So cute, so cute, so cute.
This shrimp.
But it's an amazing animal, actually.
Most snails aren't scary, except for this one. This
Oh,
one's
that's
Australian.
cute. So adorable.
Introducing the cone snail, an aquatic mollusk native to the land.
Gotta be since I never
And
saw
as
that
such, the
one.
requirement when sharing your postcode with a kangaroo, you guessed it. It can quite easily cause your neck snap to be in a coffin. And the way it can achieve it is this bad boy right here. You see, despite most snails having a reputation for being slow goobers that get folded by a salt shaker,
No!
the cone snail is a highly effective ambush predator. And you may be wondering, how the fuck does a creature that moves slower than the GTA 6 development cycle hunt?
Ah, man,
Well, that's simple. It has a grappling hook.
What?
That's right, Gary's murderous little cousin here is a roadhog, mate.
Okay, yeah, I never heard about this
Hunts by
animal.
slowly but surely stalking up on his prey until he's just within range, and then bang! The
Oh
cone snail
my
does a
God.
quarter circle input, spitting out a toothed harpoon at 90 kilometers a hour. This harpoon then nails its prey, allowing them to reel it in like he's playing Scorpion. And in case that wasn't bad enough, as seems to be a requirement for spawning on Australian servers, it's venomous.
Okay.
That harpoon also injects its prey with a highly potent neurotoxin that instantly paralyzes it. This means it cannot put up a fight, as it is sucked into the snail's ginormous maw like a
Oh
nightmarish
my-
version of Kirby.
Oh, it's Kirby from real life.
And,
Yay!
just in case you thought for once you might be safe, cone snail venom is potent enough to kill 700 people with one sting.
No
Oh,
way.
yeah, and there's no
I was gonna ask if it can
Not
kill
enough that it
one
can
people
I
person.
have to die knowing there is zero counterplay. Who balanced this Most snails are.
Okay, that one I didn't know it was so dangerous. Jesus. Is there some people that got bitten by that? Oh my god. Oh, dolphin! Yay, so cute! Yeah, with pufferfish, I
The
know.
dolphin is by far and away the smartest animal in the ocean. In fact, they're actually the second smartest thing on the planet, just behind you and me. This means they are smart enough to understand that the ideal way to spend your night is more plastered than Chad and Max on your average Cold Ones episode. There is just one problem. Last I checked, there's no Bottle-O in Bikini Bottom. So how does a dolphin get fired for all? Simple. They abuse pufferfish.
Yeah,
You see,
for
due to lack of
fish.
underwater alcohol, dolphins need to find other ways to get their fix, which is where SpongeBob's driving instructor comes in. You see, pufferfish contain this really cool and totally not dangerous substance called tetrodotoxin. What is tetrodotoxin? You know, it's only one of the most potent natural neurotoxins on the fucking planet. This
Let's go.
freeze your heart and lungs in under an hour with a tiny dose. And it's the reason why cooking a pufferfish requires a dexterity check so you don't, hit the poison gland and get yourself deleted. Now, puffers carry this as a defense
there a cure?
mechanism as poison accumulates in their organs and skin. Why is that important? Well, you see, I kinda lied. Dolphins don't get drunk. They get high on neurotoxin.
Yeah.
¿Quieres?
Pods of dolphins
Yes.
will bully pufferfish until they inflate, then partake in a literal puff-puff pass. By
Poor-
lightly squeezing the puffer in their mouth,
Poor-
they
poor
receive a
pufferfish,
small dose of
like-
neurotoxin, which has a narcotic effect, allowing Flipper here to trip balls before passing the unhappy basketball onto the
Poor
next
pufferfish is
submarine owner.
suffering. Save him.
and friends saw the deadliest neurotoxin on the planet and said, "Fuck it, let me try some of that."
Dolphins get
Oh my god, what did I just see? But gonna tell you something. If a dolphin. Wait, I have to open it again. Okay, so what I was talking about. Two dolphins discovered that. Some dolphin had to try that and say, wow, this is crazy amazing, right? Some dolphin had to try that, okay? Stuff doesn't happen like that. For example, I don't know how humans discovered that milk is good, okay? Someone has to try it first and then pass the information for generation. So some dolphin tried it and said, "Yo, bro, you have to try that." I think.
If you see this thing T-pose, run. Introducing the anteater,
Urso formigueiro.
creature
This is called urso formigueiro in Portuguese.
And to understand why the absolute stance on this bad
They're
boy
cute.
is a threat to
I
your
like
health,
them.
you're going to have to understand a little about his lifestyle first. Now listen, I know this may come as a shock to you, but the anteater eats ants. And weighing in at 40 kilos and 1.8 meters in length, it needs to consume upwards of 40,000 ants per day. Now, in order to help him hit his bulking goals, the anteater has a mystery mouse tool stored inside that XL sniffer.
He has a what? Oh, so cute.
60 centimeter long tongue. Designed to snake its way down an ant colony's tunnel network, smash into their living room, and abduct the entire cast of Bug's life and convert them into a high-calorie meal.
You know, that's a ton of individuals, like, Jesus.
So far, as an ant colony can extend up to 4 meters underground, and termites live in high-rises, which means our boy here is going to have to do a little excavation to get to the goods. But
I'm gonna eat cookies while I watch this.
Go down to Bunnings and buy a shovel. So how does he dig? Oh, that's simple. With the combat knives he has for claws. Yeah, Anthony's permanently cosplaying Freddy Krueger with a set of 4-inch claws, which, proving the effectiveness of a few inches, can crack through f***ing concrete. Now,
okay, that didn't know.
Digging, but they are also more than capable of flatlining you. When threatened,
that's
will
obvious.
rear up into a defensive T-pose. This is your sign, if you are smart, to turn around and f*** all the way off. If, however, you were, say, some dumbass trophy hunter who really felt the need to try and stab an animal for no reason other than ego, the anteater will swipe at you with those claws, which are at the perfect height to nail your inner thigh, slip through your flesh like butter, and sever your femoral artery,
causing you to bleed out in 2 minutes while the anteater watches you go meet your ancestors.
Can you imagine having to explain to your ancestors who felled woolly mammoths you got your packed up by the most unserious creature on the planet hitting a T-pose?
It's so cute.
If you see this thing T-pose...
T-pose. Spider, yay, so cute.
Spider is hiding a deep secret. But what is it? Well, introducing the Huntsman, native to the land down under, and the
Huntsman spiders are kind of crazy.
Absolutely shitting themselves on camera.
Yeah, they're scary, but I like them.
I've said tourists, I will be the first to admit, yeah, this looks scarier than a f***ing job application. Those gangly ass legs and the hair.
You know, for me, this type of spider is scarier than tarantulas. Tarantulas for me are cute.
Wasn't bad enough. I regret to inform you that the Huntsman spider grows up to 30 f***ing centimeters in size, making it the largest spider on the planet by leg span, and legally allowing Subway to market him as a foot long.
But isn't the Golia eaters? Oh my god, isn't the spider... Aranha Golia comedora de pássaros the biggest... the biggest spider? Like, bro, I'm so confused. What is the biggest spider then?
Now, being the spider equivalent of a Ford F-150, you'd think he'd have the common decency to be slow, you know, tank build.
No, they're fast.
The Huntsman is f***ing turbocharged. Now, it's usually at this point in the video that I would inform you that he is also highly venomous.
So cute.
Because he's Australia. However,
of course,
that's his big secret. The Huntsman is a big sweetheart. You see, despite looking like an SCP, Huntsmen are incredibly timid, and on the rare occasion they do bite, their venom is harmless. In fact, seeing one of these bad boys in your house is a blessing in disguise, because if you see a Huntsman in your home, I guarantee you won't see any annoying ass flies or mosquitoes, because he's eaten them. You see, he understands he's big enough that he should be paying rent, and so he contributes to the household in pest control.
So cute.
I personally have had one of these bad boys as an 8-legged roommate, and I can tell you they're pretty good company. Except for the part where they cause car crashes.
And what?
Yeah, you see, huntsmen like to hide in tight spaces and cracks, and they do it by flattening out their body to fit in.
That's so
the gap.
cute.
Now, in the house, that usually means you'll just find them behind a painting, but when you're flying down the highway at 110k an hour and decide to flip down the sun visor because God is trying to flashbang you, yeah, they like to sleep in there and you've just dropped one into your lap.
Now, whatever you do, don't panic or you're going to crash the...
Now, bro.
Australia's scariest...
You know, spiders are cute. But I panic. Me too. Like, how couldn't you panic? I panic with a feather. I panic with a tiny cotton. I don't panic with anything if it's southern, you know? But they're cute. Look at that. So adorable. I was gonna tell you something, but I don't remember what it was. So sorry.
This isn't a spider. It's a snake.
I love them, but I just can't avoid it. That's true. No, they're I like spiders, but they sometimes scary.
Snake. Introducing the Iranian spider-tailed horned viper, as the name suggests, native to Iran, and you are all probably wondering why the f*** this snake has decided to attach a cosplay of the average Australian resident to his...
Yeah, he does that to attract prey to think that they can eat the spider, but then it attacks the you know what I'm talking.
The answer
So cute.
is food. You see, every known snake species is a predator. Some eat Bambi, others eat Remy, and the spider tail, not unlike myself, absolutely
I'm sorry. I don't know what's happening. My love is already searching what's happening with my computer. Thank you. So did you discover the error while we watched this?
This isn't a spider. Evolutionary equivalent of DoorDash. Rather than trying to... I checked, nope, ropes don't have wings.
Thank you.
So, how
No
did
wing.
this viper get his zinger box? The answer...
Wait, what was that? Okay.
Is again food. You see, birds eat insects, and the spider tail knows this. So rather than
But
trying to chase
spiders
its prey
aren't insects. Spiders are arachnids.
down, this lazy fucker has evolved the evolutionary equivalent of DoorDash. You see, when a viper feels like a meal, it'll start the hunt by finding a nice rocky outcrop to curl up on like a couch. And due to the camouflage on his scales, this snake becomes practically invisible. Once he's nice and cozy, he begins to slowly wiggle his tail back and forth in front of his face, perfectly mimicking the motion of an insect.
Look
Think
at
this is him
that.
placing his Uber Eats order. Meanwhile, up in the air, our undercooked chicken tender is flying around.
Aw,
with-
so cute.
Holy shit! A free meal!
Let's
What a
go.
delectable bug just sitting there on that rock. And so, Tweety Birdie swoops down to grab himself an insect Happy Meal. And just as he's about to reach his meal, this isn't a spider.
Man, poor birds. But that's nature. You know the spider needs to eat. Okay, let's see
This
another spider.
can
Yay!
remove your limbs. But how? Introducing the brown recluse, native to the United States of America.
Really?
One example
Oh my-
of don't judge a book by its cover. Because despite only coming in at a
Okay, thank you. You're adorable.
huge 2 centimeters in length and rocking the spider equivalent of default character customization, this little f***er is a level 500 rot build that
Live
gives
what?
Melania a run for her money.
What
You
is
see, a bite from a recluse starts in the most American way possible.
America.
With you accidentally stepping foot onto his private property, causing him to exercise his Second Amendment rights. But considering a spider can't really hold a gun, he's gonna settle on biting your ass.
Aw.
Now, that initial bite is pretty painless. You smack him away, all's well. There is just one small problem. Congratulations, you are now the proud owner of necrotic venom coursing through your veins, which at first does nothing. You walk back to your house, the bite starts to sting a little more. You feel sick. The wound swells, and the blood vessels around the bite burst, turning it a deep red. Over the next few days, that colour shifts.
Is there a cure?
Red to purple to black, as the venom literally destroys and kills the surrounding tissue in a process called necrosis. This causes the skin to literally rot and fall off of your body. And if you don't catch it in time, that rot's gonna spread.
Yeah.
Lucky, it'll only make you violently ill and leave permanent scarring. If you're unlucky, it just keeps spreading and venom starts to destroy your blood cells and shut your organs down. Now, there's kind of only one solution to that, but you weren't using that arm anyway, right?
Only that? There's no, like, cure?
This spider can remove...
Like, imagine that the person goes right after the bite to the hospital. They can't inject, like, a cure. Oh, so cute. No cure to that tissue. No! Is that, for example, you're biting, right? But in the moment that you're biting, you get a cure. That stops the toxin to work. Okay, but if it's so early that it's just right after this buzz, look at that. Will you stop the venom to rot your skin, right? Right?
Australia has a straight-up Pokemon.
You.
Introducing the brush-tailed possum. More specifically, the golden brush.
Okay.
Native to the land down under and one of the rare
Satan's
examples of
zoo.
an Australian animal that isn't expressly designed to DoorDash you straight to heaven. You see, the brushtail is one of a grand total of 23 species of Australian possum, which, despite the name, share absolutely no relation to the red-blooded American opossum. These adorable little marsupials come in all shapes and sizes, from the ringtail possum to the sugar glider, and to our protagonist
Don't
here,
do that to
golden
the sugar
brushtail,
glider.
which is really just a common brushtail possum with a rare genetic mutation called leucism that causes them to lose the pigment in their skin. So basically, It's a fucking shiny Pokemon. Coming
Let's
in at around
go.
4.5 kilos and 40 centimeters in length, these tree-dwelling marsupials are nocturnal and primarily herbivores, mainly consisting on a diet of leaves and fruit. And for added cute points, as marsupials, yes, they carry around their babies in a little pouch like their roided out cousin the kangaroo.
Yeah.
However, come on, the thing is from Australia, you didn't really think these bad boys would be squeaky clean, did ya? You see, they aren't
Wait, they can kill you?
entirely herbivores. Sure, they love a good salad. They will also quite happily raid a bird's nest and turn Tweety's kids into a 3-egg omelette. Roadkill?
No, don't
Sounds
do
like
that.
a fine steak dinner to me.
And just because it's not a
that's
venomous
so bad.
predator doesn't mean it can't take your fucking finger off. And the cherry on top, Aussie Pikachu here doesn't go Pika Pika. No, you see, Down Under doesn't have Pokemon trainers, because when you step into the tall grass out here, you hear this absolute fucking demon.
Oh, nah, that sound, nah.
Straight up
That looks like I don't know, man, a zombie sound?
Australia
Jeez.
doesn't just have snakes and spiders. It has a tiger. Well,
Tasmanian
fine.
tiger.
Introducing the
That's
thylacine,
yeah,
known
that
as
scream
the
is
Tassie
horrible.
Tiger, as the name suggests, native to my home state of Tasmania, this tiny little island off Australia's south coast.
No, that is not New Zealand.
They have hobbits, not tigers. Oh, tiger isn't entirely correct. You see, the thylacine isn't a cat on steroids. You see, this bad boy is the largest carnivorous marsupial on the planet. Despite
Yeah,
the
he
kangaroo
died,
coming in at 7 foot
unfortunately.
tall and throwing kicks like Chun-Li, they are herbivores, and everything else with a pouch that eats meat is about the size of a chihuahua, making this 1.3 meter, 20 kilo kangaroo dog with a tiger persona the only marsupial apex predator. See, these things were ambush hunters, using stealth and speed to silently take down their prey like they're playing
I'm kind of sad they're extinct.
On top of being a fully qualified Spec Ops agent, these things had a mouth on them to rival Kirby. Capable of opening their jaw a full 80 fucking degrees, which is absolutely terrifying and really cool. There's just one small problem. You may have picked up on me talking mostly in the past tense, and that all of this footage is in black and white. That's because we don't have a tiger. We had one. Unfortunately, the thylacine was driven to extinction in the late 1980s. By what exactly?
Humans.
The British.
Yeah.
So, when the Brits, did their thing and decided Tasmania was their house now, actually, they brought with them livestock, namely sheep and cattle, which was a fucking blessing to the Tassie tiger, which rapidly added these walking meatballs with the survival instincts they went sock to their meal plans. It's free real estate. The colonists did not take kindly to the thylacine taking their livestock without a license in it, so they placed bounties on their heads. Never mind that these things never attacked humans and very rarely took their livestock. No, they were an inconvenience. And so, they were hunted down. One by one.
And the smiling, it's horrible, bro. Don't do that.
Years. Until September 7th, 1936. When the last thylacine, Benjamin, died cold and alone in a cage at the Hobart Zoo. Usually, I'd end these with a joke, but the fact that we wiped his entire bloodline and turned him into a fucking rug isn't that funny. Australia
you see that? Respect nature, bro. Don't do that. New insect, let's go!
Just found a new record-breaking insect. But before I show him to you, how the f*** do we keep finding new bugs? You see,
because they're tiny.
Home to an estimated 200,000 species of insect, which is pretty damn impressive, especially when you consider the only place you're going to find more bugs than that is by counting the f***ing roach population in Asmongold's walls.
Oh my
The
god.
scary part of this is that out of that 200k, we've only actually identified 62,000, meaning that we have no idea what nearly 3/4 of the bugs in the
Bro, imagine, I think that's way more than 200,000, because they're so tiny. And there's so many types of insects and sizes and camouflages and all of that. There's probably way more than that.
actually fucking do.
You like jazz?
Like that?
So it should come as no surprise that while exploring Australia's dense rainforests, 2 scientists discovered a new record holder for the largest insect in the land down under, and it's a fucking stick bug.
Yay! So cute.
Introducing Acrophila alta, and coming in at a full
Oh my
40
God.
centimeters and 44 grams in weight. I don't think that qualifies as a stick insect anymore. That's fucking Groot.
What?
Australia's very own Erd tree avatar was discovered in Queensland. Because of course it fucking was. And despite being enough inches in length to make any man jealous, it's actually completely harmless. However, given how many oversized bugs we already have,
Oh, so cute.
if we find any more, I think they're gonna send the fucking helldivers.
Now leave the animals alone, bro. It's actually amazing they be so big. Actually, I think one time I saw a stick bug in my house. Not my house, my garden. I think it was so cute. It was adorable. And I saw one mantis sprayer too. They sometimes appear. They're so beautiful.
This is the world's biggest spider. But
Is it
why
what
the
I...
f- is it that big? Introducing Theraphosa blondie, a tarantula surprisingly
Okay.
not native to Australia for once. It's found
Okay.
on the other Tyrannid hive continent, South
Okay.
America. Now, let's address the elephant in the room.
Okay.
Yeah, this thing is fucking huge.
This was the biggest one. I told you. Aranha comedora de pássaros, bro. South America.
Coming in at a frightening 175 grams in weight
It eats birds.
and 12 inches in leg span.
Damn, boy, he's thick.
And those legs are not the only
And they can live many years. I don't know why, like 20 years? They're really awesome.
packing inches, because Shelob's cousin here is packing fangs that measure a huge inch in length. The
Yeah.
scale, that is like a 6-foot human.
So just to tell you, they don't attack humans. They don't kill humans. Don't you worry. They kill birds and mouse.
Canines the length of a fucking ruler. But the important question, why the fuck is it so big? And the answer is that I have withheld information from you. You see, I introduced this girl by a Latin name. She's much better known as the Goliath bird eater tarantula.
Weird out there saying that some random spider in Australia was the biggest one. I was like, no way. What about this one? And I don't know, man.
This EDF-sized spider, not unlike me, would fucking kill for some KFC. Literally.
Literally.
These
Yeah.
titans will quite happily hunt birds, remy, frogs, and even lizards. And they do all
I said that was a bigger version of the deadliest. But some time ago, in some videos ago, he said it was the biggest one, another spider. But as you see, this one is the
of this
biggest.
without a fucking web.
No
Yeah,
webs?
Goliaths are a pure melee build, hunting by prowling the jungle floor, sensing for movement with incredibly sensitive hairs on their legs.
Yeah,
These
but they're
hairs
so
pick
cute,
up
I like them.
vibrations in the air, which tell them when something is close. And once their spidey sense tells them that Remy's in range,
Yeah.
they fucking jump him, biting him with those daggers they call fangs, and injecting him with fucking neurotoxin.
Yeah, but
Can I
that
go
doesn't
1
affect
week
humans.
without covering neurotoxin? Of course this thing has it too. You know, I give up. I give up. They then drag their prey back to their burrow and spit up acidic digestive juices in order to
So they
suck
can
their
eat
prey
it,
up
yeah.
to a fucking straw.
That's how they eat it.
This is the world.
Yeah, I told you that. You know, this gonna be something crazy I'm gonna tell you, but I wanted to have a Goliath spider as a pet because, you know, I like tiny spiders, okay? And they live in my house, but sometimes I don't know where they are all the time, and I can sometimes kill them without knowing because they're so tiny. But the Goliath spider is really big, okay? And if you treat her well, she would see you like a friend, in a way. In a way, okay, she wouldn't see you as a threat. But she's so big. Like, you know where always they are. And they live really long years, okay? They live like 20. I'm not sure. Mice or birds, but you know, I can leave him in my fields, like, you know, that in here there's something called field mice, okay, and we sometimes have that. But I don't know, man, that's probably not so safe. Yeah, I should have think about that. Oh yeah, this spider
hunts.
Yeah, this spider makes a hole that has a trapdoor. That's like a trap, and then the prey falls on it and it's something.
But how? Introducing the trapdoor spider, a
Yeah.
family of arachnid containing hundreds of species found in every continent on the globe. Meaning, yes, for once, this bad boy could be in your backyard, and you never know.
Yay!
Now, trapdoor spiders are particularly
Yeah, so we have to get a female, bro. At 25 years, bro, let's go. He lives almost as much as a horse. He lives bigger than a dog, my god. And he's tinier than a dog.
interesting compared to other spiders due to their hunting method. You see, normal spiders tend to spend several hours spinning up some elaborate art piece for
Yeah,
a
so
fly to
cute.
clothesline itself on. And
That sound on my ears, Jesus.
tarantulas just jump
But trapdoor spiders, yeah, they hunt with a door.
Very early on in life, trapdoor spiders dig themselves a hole. This silk-lined burrow will then serve as its home for basically its entire 20-year lifespan.
Yeah, it's like
they
their-
basically never
their
leave
house.
the thing, like some neckbeard living in his mum's basement. But they've still
What?
got to eat, and since DoorDash does not deliver to spiders, this burrow doubles as their method for catching food.
Why is it
They use
sensors?
silk to craft the trapdoor over the burrow entrance. Then,
Yeah.
using their fantastic arts and craft skills, they just bolt a bunch of random shit to their front door so it blends in perfectly with the floor. After finishing
So
their
cute.
construction project, they will spin up a bunch of basically invisible strands of web
Ah,
on the
okay,
floor
thank
in the
you.
surrounding area that act as tripwires, feeding information back to their neckbeard nest whenever something steps on it. And when some unfortunate insect steps a little too close,
Money, money.
Money. Ah! That's how they
this
do.
spider hunts
I know this
with
because I, in a way, I know it before I went to university, but in university we had to study all types of animals, right? And we saw the commentary, and I think that's so awesome. Like, it's architectural in a way, you see.
This bird is a vampire.
Let me see, I think this is the birds that attacks animals to drink blood or something.
Introducing the vampire groundfinch, native to the Galapagos Islands, and a
Yeah, Galapagos. Yeah, there's so many species there. This one, I think, is one of the few ones, or the only one that's it's like vampire
great
one.
example of the horrifying affronts to the universe that evolution can produce when it decides to do a little trolling. Now you see, at first glance, this is the most boring vampire you can possibly imagine.
Yeah, but
It is
it's
a
cute.
measly 12 centimeters.
So cute,
and
look
a
at that.
mere 20 grams in weight.
Ooh, that's kind of small.
Rocking a feather pattern I can best describe as a Minecraft dirt block, and as it
Oh,
turns out,
come on.
the bastards that wrote Twilight lied to me because it doesn't even fucking sparkle.
This is the skin of a killer bone.
Oh,
It's
that's
missing
cute.
bangs, angst, a cape, and the funny accent.
You must bounce on it.
How does it qualify as a vampire? Simple. Drinks a shitload of blood. You see, most birds eat seeds and insects, and while the vampire finch can eat those too, there is a problem. They live on an island, and that island is very small. In fact,
Yeah,
they're only
they
found
have
on
to eat more
2
stuff.
of the Galapagos Islands, and small islands means a far smaller amount of that food to go around.
To the point where these finches can't rely on it as their sole source.
Which for a bird usually isn't a problem, because, you know, they don't need a plane ticket to just f off and fly somewhere.
So cute.
However, as the name suggests, the vampire ground finch can't fly for shit. So, how do they get their food?
Yeah,
They
it's a
suck it out
ground
of someone
flower.
that can. This, don't laugh, is the
Yeah, I saw a documentary about this. They go, they're flying, these guys, and those fish come and pow, pow, and
NASCAR
yeah.
booby.
So
Hey,
cute.
stop giggling back there. Another species of bird
Foreshadowing.
on the islands. They are very strong flyers that feed on fish. They also nest on the islands, which
Booby,
is
so
where our
cute.
feathery Nosferatu comes to play. You see, when the boobies stop giggling, come to roost, the vampire finch will sneak over and hop onto their back.
Yeah,
Then, using their
that's
razor-sharp beak, they will poke a very small, borderline painless hole into one of the bird's flight feathers. Once the blood is flowing freely, the vampire finch gorge themselves on it. See, as it turns out, blood is macro-friendly. And considering these things are living creatures, they just make more blood. In
Yeah.
essence, giving the vampire
Boobies are
finch
adorable.
an infinite food source. In fact, they can get so much blood from these birds, it is not uncommon to see multiple finches sucking from the same boobie.
but what?
I'm sorry, I can't say that.
Yeah, no, I understand why he's laughing. But in a way,
This
these tiny guys can they attack the other ones. I don't believe they don't feel any pain. They should feel some pain, right? They're digging a hole in your body and drinking blood. That has to be something.
A lot of people are scared of snakes. But have you ever wondered what snakes
Hello.
are scared of? The
Slurping.
answer is this.
Wouldn't you feel that if a bird was slurping your blood? I know this is so weird to say.
Bird. Introducing the secretary bird, native to the continent of
Ou
Africa.
pássaros,
and a
ou
prime
secretária,
example
I'll
of
call
being
him
a
there.
hater pays off. Coming in at 1.3
He
meters tall
kicks
and
him with his
4.27
legs. Yeah, I
kilos.
have some stickers of this
Mate,
creature.
this lanky turkey has been purpose-built, nay, expertly fucking engineered by the gods themselves with the sole purpose of violating the ever-loving out of any garden hose that so
Yeah.
much as looks at it the wrong way.
Oh my.
You see, these bad boys are birds of prey, but unlike their cousins
So
in the same
slow.
category, they are primarily terrestrial, which means they spend most of their time
Yum
on
spaghetti.
ground.
Yeah, in a way,
Because
it's spaghetti
their
for them, right?
diet is sentient slithering sausages. However, with this thing being endemic to Africa, their preferred meal also just happens to include some of the deadliest predators on the fucking planet. Does
Maybe
this
it's
shock the
immune.
secretary bird?
To the venom and stuff.
No, mate. Despite having no natural venom resistance, these
Oh.
absolute fucking gigachads will
Wait, they're
eat
not?
cobras, boom slangs,
Oh my-
and black mambas without breaking a sweat. But how do they hunt these things without getting bitten? Simple. They just kick the fuck out of them.
Until they die. Yeah, okay, now it
You
makes
see,
sense.
Those long-ass legs aren't just for show, as a secretary bird is capable of accurately curb stomping a snake's head into the ground with a force equal to 5 times their fucking body weight.
Oh my.
So when a secretary bird fancies a bite to eat, they start out by stomping the ground around dense vegetation. This causes snakes in the area to poke their heads out of their houses to see what the f is going on. The snake
No, don't
then
go outside.
looks up in horror as the secretary bird locks onto him, sprints over at Mach 9, and then...
Poor
a lot of people are scared of snakes.
snake, come on. But it's life, I guess.
This
Oh,
bird is a serial killer.
so cute.
You're the Bay Harbor Butcher.
I really hate that name.
Introducing the Shrike, a group of feathery friends found all over the world, including the land down under. Now,
Let's
at first
go.
glance, you may be thinking to yourself, how could this sweet little guy
Yeah,
be a
so
vicious
cute.
killer? I mean, he's so tiny.
Consider she can eat snakes
They only
too,
grow up
not
to
to
around
surprise.
30
Wait.
centimeters.
What is this sound? God, this is sound of my phone. It's like someone said, it's my phone, oh my god. Yeah, chickens also eat mice.
They only grow up to around 30 centimetres and cap their weight out at 90 grams. And on top of being about as threatening as a fucking teddy bear,
So cute. Looks adorable.
their
Look
claws.
at that.
A shrike trying to end anything with its talons is like trying to stab a hippopotamus to death with a fucking pool noodle. Listen to the thing. It sings like it's on American Idol.
Oh,
It's a songbird, a branch geek. You'd never heard a fly. But I'm fucking onto you, Tweety.
You give me the fucking creeps, you know that, Dexter?
You may have everyone else fooled, but I know exactly what you are, because shrikes actually have another name. They're called fucking butcher birds.
what
Yeah,
the?
that's right, the Dexter jokes actually had a fucking point. You see, when the Bay Harbour butcher bird wants to hunt, they first start by selecting a target.
Tonight's the night.
Now, unlike Dexter, their code tells them they can eat whatever the they want.
Really?
Insects, mice, me, even lizard. And once they
Ah,
pick their
okay.
meal, they wait for the right moment and swoop on it. Now, while those
Not doing
claws
well,
might
that
be
happens, I guess.
useless, they do have a signature weapon, that tiny hook on the end of their beak. And once they land on their victim, they
No.
slide that hook into its neck, perfectly slotting between their vertebrae and severing their fucking spinal cord. But converting
Bro,
their
this is
prey
so
into a
brutal.
vegetable
Nature
isn't
is
enough.
brutal, but
No.
amazing.
These sick fucks keep trophies. Once they have paralyzed their prey and shattered its spine, they will fly its corpse back to their larder, which is either a thorn bush or a fucking barbed wire fence.
And once they get home, they fucking impale them.
What is? Nah, they don't eat
They will then
it.
leave that corpse there for days. Occasionally,
Nah,
biting
oh my God,
chunks
no
out of it,
way.
eating it like leftovers from the fucking fridge. Dexter
Oh,
collected
man, nah.
slides. These fuckers create kebabs.
Ay, Jesus, no.
Is a
But it's still cute. But Jesus, so brutal. Oh my God, didn't know that.
this crab is a
Oh, so
boxer.
adorable. Nature, yeah, it's true. Nature is crazy, but amazing.
That's right, stepping into the ring at 0.15 grams.
Oh, do you want to know something? They actually, these aren't these claws. These are actually anemones they get. And they're immune to the anemone's venom, right? So they use this to scare predators because anemones are venomous, right? Yeah, I learned about it.
Then a huge 2.5 centimeters in length.
They're so beautiful.
The boxer crab. You see, while most crabs use their pinchers to feed and defend themselves,
Comment crab.
the boxer crab has instead elected to spec into CQC and throw fucking hands. And despite their completely average and not at all small size, this fucker fights in the heavyweight division, able to punch out hundreds of times its size.
Yeah,
But
they're
how
so
does Nature's
cute.
Little Mac win the fights? Well, that's pretty simple. He fucking cheats.
Yeah.
You see, those little pom-poms aren't a fashion choice. Those are both
Anemones.
that the boxer crab holds in its claws to use as basically fucking brass knuckles. Now, they get these in enemies by finding other boxer crabs who have them, jumping them, and then claiming them like they are a fucking WWE title belt. Now, if you weren't aware, anemones are venomous plant-like
Yeah.
animals that, in order not to get eaten, sting the shit out of anything that touches them. Boxer crabs are immune to that sting.
Yeah.
But you bet your ass that everything that tries to eat the boxer crab isn't. So, the crab and the anemone enter into a symbiotic relationship, essentially becoming
True.
an
Yeah, that's
aquatic
basically that.
venom, with the anemone getting some of the crab's food, and the crab gaining venomous brass knuckles. So, whenever a predator gets in the ring with Crab Tyson here, he'll wait for it to get just within striking range, and then...
Mr. Squidward, I should kick your
Oh, let's go.
This crab
I like this crab. It's cute. So adorable.
This adorable little...
What the? Wait. Sorry.
This
Stop!
This adorable little... This
Don't ask me what's happening.
If this Australia, this scientists just discovered a
I don't
new
know.
fish. Looks fucking
Blobfish. Oh, so cute!
This
Stop
is
with
the
that stuff.
Pumpy snailfish, a freshly discovered species
blob.
found off the coast
So
of
cute.
California. What makes this
Actually, yeah, I think it's in California. There's like this place called M Barin, and I actually follow their YouTube channel because I wanted to study these deep sea creatures. So yeah, they have like some robots and stuff, and they discover this kind of animals there. I wanted one day to work from there, but yeah, forget that. I want to live here. You see, and also I don't have paper to go there and not even finish university, so I can't go study there. But you should check the channel. It's MBARI. Okay.
absolute specimen stick out is that it's a deep sea fish found
Yeah.
at a depth of 3 kilometers. And
But it's
I'm here
adorable.
to tell you exactly why. Because once God finished building this thing, he took a step back, looked at it, realized exactly how fucking chopped it was,
So
and
cute.
punted that thing into the depths of the ocean where no one would ever see it again.
Be free!
However, thanks to the hubris of mankind, it is here before us today to take the piss out of.
Look at the top of his head.
I mean, fucking look at it. It is a profoundly unserious creature.
But it's so
I
cute.
do not think a single fucking thought has ever spawned behind those eyes.
Oh, come on.
Not to mention the fit on it. It looks like an aquatic, uncooked turkey with a fucking
Hey, come
smiley
on,
face
not that
on it.
bad,
Coming
bro.
in at a solid 3 inches in length, Bumpy here is not the only species of snailfish. There's others that look like this. However, unlike his cousins, God deemed it so that this poor little f***er would be built like a shaved testicle. The
What?
scientific term for a
Oh.
pair of these should be a sack.
However,
Come on,
despite
don't
the
be so
fact
mean.
he looks like a sperm cell with a receding hairline, I love him.
Yeah, he's so cute.
Look at that smile.
Stop insulting him, he's
Exactly,
adorable.
on the PS3. I know when they got
Look,
his ass
yeah.
on camera, he looked at it and went,
You know, when you showed me up, you put some of the stuffing in the wrong places, so I'm a little up. But will you take care of me forever and ever?
Scientists, I don't think you understand just how old sharks are.
We got a boom.
They're really
I'm not
old.
just talking individual sharks. Hammerheads, Bruce from Nemo, Jeff.
Aww.
Your average shark
What?
lives anywhere between 20 to 80 years. Nothing all that special. I'm talking sharks as a species. Because as
Yeah,
a concept,
wait,
because as a concept, sharks are
No, I want...
all that special. I'm talking sharks as a species.
Okay, yeah, Megalodon, Edestus. There's one worse than that one. It's not called Edestus, but there's like this... Looks like a spiral in the below shin, okay? This one yeah, wait. This one I saw. This one I didn't know it was a shark. I didn't know this was a shark. Okay, this one I didn't know, didn't know. This one I saw on an Instagram post. This one, of course, I know. This one, I guess I know one that has a different name. And this one I saw. Not in real life because they're extinct, okay?
As a concept, sharks are fucking one-tricks. They have mined this class through every single balance adjustment Earth has thrown at them. From climate change, to the Ice Age,
to that time God decided to punt a rock at Barney the dinosaur.
Yeah.
Yeah, when it comes to prehistoric sharks,
Oh man, come on, it's inside of the mouse. It would be more cool if it was outside. It would look like a monster. Oh, come on. Really?
most people think of the megalodon.
Oh wait, the name is Helicorpion. The name is Helicorpion. Yeah, that's the one I was talking about.
That was swimming around in the ocean around 26 million years ago, which might sound like a long time, but as far as sharks go, this thing's a fucking zoomer. Go back around 250 million years to the early Triassic, before the literal dinosaurs, and you'll find Helicorpion, a shark with a
see? That's the stuff I was talking about. It is an Helicorpion.
buzzsaw for a mouth. 250 not far back enough for you? Go back around 300 million years, and you will find Adestus.
Okay, that's another one.
And if that is
I didn't know about that, Estus.
back enough, you can go all the way back, right to the beginning, to the first recognizable shark, Doliotis problematicus. 410
so beautiful.
million years old. Sharks have existed for 4 times longer than Saturn has had rings.
Let's go.
Tree only sprouted out of the ground 385 million years ago. That means that for 25 million years, Groot's great-great-grandfather was sat in God's drafts while this chased Nemo.
Yeah, punks are like one of the best kinds of animals. That's right. Grönland shark. Wait, before starting this one, Grönland shark is known as also the shark that lives in most. It was discovered because they found a Grönland shark with a harpoon in its back, right? And that harpoon was like 300-400 years old. Also, these guys get blind. There's an age they get to that there's a parasite goes inside of their eyes. So half of their life they're blind. Okay. So yeah, they're really old and they're blind in a way. But in the beginning they're not until they find that parasite. Okay.
Oldest shark.
We got a boomer!
But how old actually is it? This absolute fossil over here is the Greenland shark.
Yeah.
And this may come as a shock to you, but...
Yeah, because I think the spear was wood, I guess. It was still wood, okay? They didn't do metal ones, I guess.
The Greenland shark is found in f***ing Greenland, man.
Let's go.
And with Grandpa Shark here coming in at a f***ing kaiju-sized 6 meters in length and a literal...
Yeah, but they don't do bad to humans, don't you worry too much.
Citizen probably worked with Godzilla back in his day. But how senior is senior? You might be expecting me to say something along the lines of, 100 years, maybe 150 years, right?
500.
Try higher. No, not 200. Close, but not 300 either. No, the Greenland shark can live up to 500
years.
I don't think you understand how old that is. So, to put it in perspective, this is Bob. Bob has just turned 500. Here is a list of things this has lived through. All 8 of King Henry's divorces. The invention of chocolate.
Let's go.
Invented chocolate.
Shakespeare's entire lifespan. The Boston Tea Party. The signing of the Declaration of Independence and the founding of the United States. The colonization of Australia. The Industrial f***ing Revolution. The invention of the light bulb and adoption of electricity. The Titanic
really
becoming a submarine. World War I. The Great Depression. World War II. The Vietnam War. The f***ing moon landing. And the invention of the internet. The first episode of SpongeBob. Schlatt's crimes in 99. 2001. The invasion of Iraq. The global financial crisis. The death of Harambe. Australia catching fire. The virus. And it's still with us today to watch fucking TikTok. This is...
But one stuff it is blind. Okay, now he's blind because of a parasite. But yeah, he lived through that and he's still alive, I guess. I think he has not anymore that spear in the back, okay? Because, of course, they had to take it off to analyze it.
Most snails aren't.
Okay, I have to do
If
this.
you Australia, this, a lot of this, so on this.
Oh, no way.
Okay, so as the Aussie animal guy, I feel like I might owe you an explanation for this one. That is
This is
normal
Australia,
kangaroo.
Australia's.
No, he is not Rufus Christ. He's not the
Rufus
second coming,
Christ.
and he's not going to turn your water into wine. Alright, he might turn it into VB if you ask nice.
Yay!
But
I don't
if
know
that's
what that
the case,
is, but okay.
How the f is he stealing the Son of God's passive? Well, the answer is fucking sand.
I don't like sand.
Yeah, you see, what's far more likely than a roo being enchanted with water walking?
It's Australian, but is it good? I don't like alcohol, but maybe it's good for people that like, right?
Currents piling up a shitload of sand into one place, creating an offshore segment of the water that's not much deeper than a fucking kid.
Never tried. Okay, you don't need
Know
to.
about sandbars, and they actually very frequently use them as a shortcut to get from A to B to find more food. So, while it looks like Skippy here is stealing Jesus' entire fucking flow, he's actually on a Macca's mish.
Let me get a...
Oh, it's so cute.
I got into a car crash.
No!
I was driving, I was on I used to work on a farm. I'm driving
Oh
down
my
the
God.
road. It's a narrowish gravel road, so you really need to stick to your side. I come round a corner, so there's like a blind corner. I'm on my side of the corner. Someone comes around the corner in a big car too far over. I see them and I have to go over to the side. That didn't run me off the road, but it put me in this really thick, you know, really loose, thick gravel. So the car starts sliding towards a wall on this side of the, like a
Okay.
wall over here. So I slide it back, but over this side there's like a fucking 3-4 meter drop.
I
And
know!
I was like, oh, fuck. So I slide it back, then realize, oh, I can't get out of this slide. I'm going to crash. Pick the wall rather than going down a hill. Smash into the wall. The car like hits it like the car hits front on. The force of the impact spun it so it was facing backwards. I'm like holding
Okay.
the wheel. The car stops moving. I'm like, oh shit. Oh fuck.
Okay,
Okay. Open my door. I have to like put a bit of force into it. Like bonk the door open. Stumble out of the car. I see the front end of my car has just been torn off. Like the bumper's ripped off, the radiator's
Oh my
been
God,
punctured.
thankfully it's
There were
fine.
3 thoughts that went through my mind. The first one was, am I good? The second thought was, this is gonna make really good content when I talk about it. Like, this is gonna be really fucking funny. And then I was like, oh, fuck, my car's a write-off. I got into a...
Yeah, I'm really worried. You know, car crashes, actually, I worry a lot, okay? Because of personal stuff. But yeah, please be well. Don't be really careful on the road, okay, everyone? Please,
There
thank
is a
you.
competition in America where they vote on the fattest bear.
I want to vote on that, can I?
That's right, lads. Fuck the Super Bowl. I'm about to introduce you to the most important American sporting event of the year, Fat Bear Week.
I want that. That's so
Hosted by
cute.
the Katmai National Park and Preserve in Alaska every year from the 23rd to the 30th of September, the public watches as Winnie and Paddington fight it out to see who is the most absolute of units. And this year's highest calorie Kumamane has been crowned. But before that, how the f does Fat Bear Week work?
It's so
Simple.
cute.
See, the event is held in the lead up to hibernation season.
So
All
cute.
these bears are
Yeah, when they get really fat. To
Now, while it's running, the park allows the public to view live stream footage from all of their trail cams. These cameras capture all the park's brown bears, allowing us to observe Freddy's fat-ass cousins like we just got a job at fucking Fazbear Entertainment. Each bear
So
caught
cute.
on camera is assigned a number and occasionally a name. We, the people, then vote on the contestants day by day, pitting them against one another in a fucking single elimination tournament bracket, determining with our votes which bear most closely resembles a
Oh my god, that's so
until one
adorable!
bear is crowned the victor. Now, you may think
So
this
cute.
is just some silly little event, but no, over the years, there has been fucking voter fraud, a man
No way.
missing hiker, and one year, the trail cams caught one contestant beating to death and eating another bear.
No way!
But now,
They eat
to answer the question
themselves?
you've all been waiting for, the winner of the 2025 Fat Bear Week
Show!
is 32 chunks, winning with a broken jaw. They named that f***er after the render distance you need to load in his entire body at once. There is a competition
Oh my
in
god,
America
can
where
we
they
vote?
vote
Or
Australia
no?
just found a new shark. And of course,
Yay!
being from the land down under, it's fucking weird. Introducing the brand new Western Australian lantern shark. As the
Aww.
name suggests, discovered by a team of scientists off the coast of Western Australia. Now, as with
Mad
the
Max, okay.
overwhelming majority of weird shit in the ocean, the Ozempic shark here is found in the deep sea.
Yeah.
Sharing a postcode with the anglerfish, that one xenomorph shark, and
I
now,
know,
despite
that thing
the
is so
word
scary,
shark
bro.
making most people think of something a little closer in size to, I don't know, Bruce. Slenderman's fish sonar over here only grows up to 30 centimeters. This little guy shares a weight class.
You know,
of
seeing that
fucking
giant squid before makes me get
But I mean,
chilled. It's
honestly, I
horrible.
still personally think 30 centimeters.
But you know, it's
is way
interesting,
too
but
big.
it's so
He could be
scary.
Just as good as the other sharks if he was, you know,
A
let's just say
ruler,
3 inches.
bro.
However, other than being
Play
built
that
like
poor
a fishy
shark.
USB cable and owning a property in rock bottom, what makes him so weird? Simple. He fucking glows.
Oh, it's normal. It's on the...
Fucking why?
Because
You see,
it's in the
these
bottom
bad
of the
boys
sea.
are found in the twilight zone of the ocean.
Yeah.
1.2 kilometers below the surface. A place so fucking far down, it sees less sunlight than the inside of a gacha addict's room.
Okay.
And so, lantern sharks evolved bioluminescence on their
Tense.
gills and fins in order to fucking communicate with one another.
Yeah,
The glow
that's normal.
is the evolutionary equivalent of a fucking indicator, showing
Yeah.
that a literal abyss shark is more intelligent than your average BMW driver.
Bro, yeah, I'm not gonna even talk about
Australia
that.
just found
But yeah, bioluminescence is used to communication, to attract predators, to... I don't know, man. It's just for a lot of stuff, and I
Aussie
love that.
farmers thought they were being attacked by aliens.
Yeah.
But what was actually causing it?
Yeah, the platypus, I still don't understand why they got that.
The kangaroo's vertically challenged little cousin. Now, to get a little more specific, this is a Bennett's wallaby, native to my home state of Tasmania. And that location is very important to the story. Tassie is home to a lot of things. Beautiful views, a seal with a felony record, and the nut. However,
The nuts.
one thing they
The
tend
nuts.
to leave off the tourism brochures is drugs. Tasmania is the world's largest exporter of legal opium. The main
Opium?
ingredient in opioid painkillers like morphine. With
okay.
one tiny island producing 50% of global supply. Now,
Bro,
opium
no
comes
way.
from poppy milk. And to get
Poppy milk.
you need to milk poppies.
Oh.
And to
What?
produce that 50% of global supply, Tasmanian farmers grow huge fields of these things across the north of the state. However, because throwing these flowers into a crafting table gives you f***ing narcotics, these fields are legally required to be under extremely tight security. Which is why these same poppy farmers became extremely confused when
What?
f***ing crop circles showed up in the plant equivalent
Yeah, they're stealing
of
the
a
poppies.
Town Hall 9 Clash of Clans base. They were, understandably, absolutely bewildered by this, and some people even thought it was aliens. So to figure out whether or not it was a Halo Elite drawing this shit, they set up some cameras. And what they saw was this little shit.
Aww.
Breaking into the field, eating the milk-filled buds, getting absolutely eyed, and then hopping in circles until he passed the out. They
That's so
thought
cute.
the f***ing Covenant were invading, and it was a drink-driving wallaby. Aussie farmers.
You know, there's a question. Like, poppies aren't like a flower that you can plant. Is that illegal because of some stuff you can do with it? Because poppies are so cute. It's something that confuses me a lot.
This shrimp has a gun. No, this isn't a Fortnite skin. This is a
So
real
cute.
f***ing animal, and it's called the pistol shrimp. Now, unsurprisingly,
Okay, thank
being
you.
named after a firearm, of course it's f***ing native to the United States of America. Where the f*** else do you think you were going to find it? However, they can actually be found expressing their Second Amendment rights over the majority of the globe, too. Now, coming in at a huge 2 inches, it is not the size
Look
of
at
his
that
body that makes
arm.
him special, but the caliber of the big iron on his hip. Or should I say big claw? You see, that oversized right pincher isn't just because he forgot to, switch hands while doing homework.
What is...
No,
Oh my
mate,
god.
that claw is basically fucking Mega Man's arm cannon. But last I checked, they can't call in an ammo resupply under the sea. So how
Okay.
does the claw become a gun? The answer is bubble.
Oh!
You see, these bad boys hunt smaller shrimp, and they start that hunt by jumping off the f***ing battle bus and looking for prey. Once they get
So
within
cute.
effective range, they will literally cock their claw like the hammer on a revolver. Weapon ready, they line up the shot, take aim, and...
Oh!
They snap their claws together so fucking fast, it causes an underwater vacuum, creating an explosive cavitation bubble.
Bro, it's like the other shrimp.
Surface of the sun. This bubble.
Why
is
always
then
the surface of
launched
the sun?
enemy At over 100k an hour. The bubble then connects with the smaller shrimp
So cute.
and f***ing
The sun is so cute.
This either kills it outright or stuns it long enough to be consumed. Poor
Bro.
little fucker got quick scoped by Faye Shrimp.
Poor
This
shrimp.
Has a
Oh my god. But yeah, I guess we saw everything. It's shrimp. But yeah, this is so cool. I like to talk about this stuff, okay? This is so cool. Like a spring, yeah, but imagine evolving that. Wouldn't be that crazy. Okay, so what's gonna happen now?